Some incredibly difficult issues being addressed there. Well, coming up, we'll take you to Port Elizabeth, where our reporter Sandy McCowan is with the Parliament Portfolio Committee visiting the area to address gangsterism. We'll bring you more on that story in just a moment. Stay with us.
I work for a car dealership. Many of my clients that buy cars have to sort out their insurance.
Yes.
And hearing from them on a daily basis how much money they save from our insurance, I had to make the call myself.
Your clients switched you, the car dealer. How much did you end up saving?
Just over 300 rand a month. So make that call now.
Talk to the people, Chad. When must they make that call?
Now,
when
now,
must they
now.
make that call?
Make it now.
Yes.
It's not too late. It can still be your year.
Yeah.
SMS SAVE to 38418. There's still time to switch and save.
Welcome back. Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police is in Port Elizabeth today to address gangsterism. There have been escalating levels of violence in the city's northern suburbs. Nearly 80 people have been killed between April and October this year alone. Now, last week, Khoisan activist and ANC representative Christian Martin slept in a coffin in front of the Premier's office, demanding an end to the violence. Let's take you live now to PE. That's where we find our reporter Sandy McCowan. Sandy, so Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police in the city to try and address gangsterism. What kind of action would this entail? What kind of practical steps on the ground would this Portfolio Committee be taking?
Yes, the Safety and Security Portfolio Committee as well as the Minister of Police are in Port Elizabeth today. They are at the moment speaking to different stakeholders. They are speaking to the police, they're speaking to residents, they're speaking to the police community forums, they're speaking to everyone involved in the northern areas to try and get a sense of what is happening at the moment. As you know, there has been a scourge of violence. In the last month, approximately 10 people have been killed, and the violence is just escalating. So there has been a call on the ground for an anti-gang unit to be established. That'll be one of the things the Minister of Police will be looking at. I am now joined by Christian Martin, a Khoisan activist who slept outside the Premier's office in a coffin for 7 days, demanding that the Minister of Police be here today. Thank you so much for joining us. You slept for 7 days in a coffin. How are you feeling after that? How was that experience?
To be honest, it wasn't a good experience to start with. I mean, as Chief Crawford always reminded me when I complained about the coffin, he would say that, remember, a coffin was there for eternal rest and not for eternal sleeping. So it was not a good experience. But I can say, looking at today, it was worth our while that I've done that. And I just wanted to say, I think what we have done is, and what I have done is what any public representative in my position would have done, and any traditional cultural leader would have done for his community. So I can say, being a deployee from the political party that I'm sent from, it's expected of me to do my utmost for the community that I'm deployed at.
What would you like to see the Safety and Security Portfolio and the Minister of Police doing today? Would you like an anti-gang unit to be established here in the northern areas?
I think a very important point, because all of us are very excited about the anti-gang unit. But we must remember that the anti-gang unit is not the solution in itself. The anti-gang unit is but a solution. Because if you look at it, we have a socio-economic problem within our community, a designed, structured social economic problem way before 1994. So if we consider other factors, you must consider education, you must consider drug abuse and so forth. It's in a high level in our community. So we are more thinking about let's say, a socio-economic integrated government relations approach, which means you have your health department, your education department, social development must come in, and economic affairs must come in. Because if you look at the gangsters in our area, they're actually proven to many of us that they're actually business people on the wrong side of the line, but they know how to run a business successfully. So by coming in economically, I think we can assist them to really divert them in a more positive direction than in where they are now, because what they are doing now is more a destructive, and if I have to emphasize, a self-destructive way of doing business.
The police are saying that the reason for the scourge at the moment is because the gangs are fighting for drug routes to establish for next year. Is that what's happening? What is it like to live in the northern areas?
You see, living in the northern areas is exactly the symbolism when it comes to the coffin and myself. The northern areas represented the coffin. That is the state of the northern areas. Myself represented the community because I'm a community leader in my area. So sleeping in the community is like the northern areas sleeping in a coffin. You just wait when it's your turn to die. So it's the most dangerous situation in the northern areas. I mean, you must literally sleep awake, because anytime somebody can just bang your door open, take all your goods, your valuables, your TVs, your possessions, and then walk out. If you resist, you might be killed. Not might, some people were killed actually for that. What makes it more worse is that our children are not safe anymore. I know that one thing that Chief Crawford have harped on during this time, we are not there only to rest in peace. We are there to play in peace. We are there to go to work in peace. Our women and our wives are there to hang up their washing in peace. You could not do that in the northern areas. So, as I say again, the gang unit will only be an interim intervention and should definitely not be the intervention. The other thing that we are really hoping upon is the police station. Remember, since 1994, the ANC government have built a lot of houses. But coming with the intervention of houses, trying to get people's lives improved, there was unintended consequences in the meanwhile. The unintended consequences is we never built clinics, we never built schools, neither that we built a police station. So that was one of the unintended consequences. We never built human settlements, we only built houses. So the police station should definitely be one of the priorities for us in the northern areas. Because at the moment, the Bethelsdorp police station, I must commend them. With the brigadier there, they are doing their utmost best. But you can only do that much with the few resources that you have. According to the United Nations, one police station should be built for 200,000 people. Now, if that police station was built in the year 1989 for that total of people, at the moment we have 44 areas that came from 1994 up to date. 44 areas came into existence. Now, you can think it's double the amount that the United Nations says we must have.
If the minister says to you they don't have the money to build a police station right now, what is your reaction going to be to that?
You see, lucky we have the best constitution in the world, and court cases, constitutional cases have proven already that you can't use budget for the rights of your citizens. So I don't think that would stand any water in a constitutional court. Our lives is more important than any budget. Money should be sought somewhere, but money should be sought, because we can't expect at the moment we are standing at easily 90 people that have been killed. An 8-year-old person, not a person, a child that have been killed. And we are talking about a budget. It's definitely no excuse to come with a budget. You know, it's actually inhumane. You know, if the minister come with that lame excuse of a budget should be sought somewhere, but a budget must be found to build that police station.
And just finally, now this is you have got what you demanded. Is this the end of your campaign, or are you going to continue with this campaign?
I think ours is just now to do an oversight, to make sure things are being put in place and to follow the processes that are going to come to us. So I can say that for now, sleeping in a coffin, it's not the first thing on my mind anymore. But otherwise, we will just do an oversight role now for implementation of things that the minister is going to say. But then the other thing also on the gang unit. You see, the challenge that we have with the gang unit is what they do is they would come into an area, whether it's Cape Town, wherever. They would build a gang unit, but the gang unit actually exists of the existing police, which means you're just poaching expertise from the various police stations around you. That should not happen. We should come up and create jobs for our kids. I want to say this. It's very important for me. You see, the army have recruited some of our youths 2016. Some are on a contract base, which means they are permanent. Others are on 180 days, which means they are being called up for 180 days. Some don't even get called up for 180 days. So I ask myself, if our youth and our army are going to do peace missions in other countries to make sure that other countries' citizens are safe, why can't they do it with us? We also need the same peace that other countries need. So the peace missions that we are doing in other countries in Africa and abroad, we must start in our own countries with our own youth that are well trained. The reason for that is, if we don't use our youth for peace missions in our area, the gangsters will use them because they have specialized expertise.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. That was Christian Martin, Khoisan activist who slept for 7 days in a coffin outside the Premier's office, demanding that the Minister of Police and the Safety and Security Portfolio Committee come to the northern areas to see what's happening here and to find a solution for the problem.
Well,
Michelle?
they've heeded the call, and they are there in PE, the Portfolio Committee from Parliament on Police and Safety and Security. They are now in Port Elizabeth. Let's hope that visit brings some real results. Sandy McCowan live to us there from PE.